Cream lecture. And before we get into today's very important lecture, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button and notification button. And also check out my 2 different levels of memberships. Take a look at those membership perks. And if the viewer is aware, with many of my lectures, at the completion of the lecture, I either set it for the level 1 or level 2 membership. But that's only with certain lectures. Now, this is a particular lecture I'm going to leave in the public domain because this is a very important lecture. The focus of this lecture is my book, Awake Financial Freedom, is currently in publication to be converted into an audio book. And I'm going to also I'm going to talk about the contract that I entered into, my executed contract that I entered into I actually signed that contract February 21st, 2008 with Audiobook Network. They are the stakeholders that I entered into a contract on February the 21st, 2023 to convert my published work into an audiobook. I tell anyone, collaborate with the experts when you want important things done. Again, on February the 21st, 2023, this executed contract, it is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages long. And at the end of the contract, you can see what both parties sign in terms of sign this executed contract to get to set the stage for services to be delivered. In those services have to be paid for, viewers. It is not a free service. However, the money I spent paying Audiobook Network to transform my published work into an audiobook was a 100% business write-off as a business expense. It will be a 100% business write-off when I get ready to file my taxes for the end of the year 2023 as a business owner, and I'm here to tell you. So pay attention to this. I'm going to just basically talk about what's involved in this contract and actually what my money paid for. It states that the publisher will provide the following professional services to the author. They already have assigned me an audio production coordinator. The author will be assigned an audio production coordinator to coordinate publication of the audiobook, including assisting the author with the auditioning and selection of voiceover narrators, coordinating and scheduling of recording sessions, oversight of post-production editing, drafting, and author approval of a professional press release, and listing the audiobook for sale on the publisher, affiliate, vendor platforms. So that's the sole essential job functions of my assigned audio production coordinator. Also stipulated in this contract is a production timeline calendar. Publisher will provide author with a customized production timeline calendar detailing the intended schedule for the production process, including the selection of the voiceover narrator, time frame for recording sessions, expected completion dates for post-production editing, technical pre-upload, quality checks, and eventual upload of the finished audiobook to the various vendor platforms. Also stipulated in this contract is narration talent questionnaire. The production coordinator will provide the author with a comprehensive questionnaire that will assist with compiling a list of 3 voiceover narrators so that the author may choose one for narration of the audiobook. That specific task is stipulated in the contract has already been completed. They submitted me 3 voices to choose from. I listened to all 3. And to be honest with you, the 3rd voice that I heard with my ear was the tone and pitch that I was looking for, that's congruent with the concept of my book, Awake Financial Freedom. And I'm here to tell you. Also, as stipulated in the contract, is again, that ties into the what I just got done reading, creation of a audition clip. They sent me those clips. Publisher will produce a brief audition recording of 200 to 300 words performed by the author's selected voiceover narrator of an excerpt selected by the author. Upon author's approval of the voiceover narrator, the project will proceed to the narration and production phase. That's the phase that my book is currently in for my audiobook. It is currently in the production. It is currently in narration and production phase. Production and post-production editing is also information in the contract about that. Immediately upon the author's selection of a voiceover narrator, studio time will be booked for recording sessions of the audiobook, assuming a word count as stated above. Upon completion of all recording sessions, the finished audio files will be transferred to the editing studio for post-production editing, such as debreathing, external noise, balance semblance, and assurance of correct dynamic range. So that's one of the reasons why you go into contracts with the expert. There's no way I could have done all that. I'm here to tell you. Also, as indicated in the contract, there's going to be a pre-upload technical variation prior to uploading the finished audiobook to the published affiliate retail vendors platform. The digital audio files will be verified by publisher to ensure that they are in compliance with each vendor's technical requirements regarding proper batch rate, sample rate, and codices. And all that language means nothing to me. That's one of the reasons why you yield to the experts, and I'm here to tell you. Also, in the contract, it talks about preview version for author approval and platform upload. The finished, compiled, and technically verified audiobook files will be submitted to the author for approval before uploading to the vendor retail platforms upon author's approval. The audiobook and corresponding print edition cover art, which will be supplied by the author. I'm going to let them use the same cover art for my printed, or when Page Publishing published my book. This is the cover of my book. I'm using the same cover for the audiobook. I'm keeping it simple. So the author's approval, the audiobook and corresponding print edition cover art, which will be supplied by the author and reformatted by the publisher to satisfy various technical requirements, will be uploaded to Amazon, Audio, and Apple in accordance with their respective terms and conditions. That's another reason why you hire the experts. There's nowhere in the world I could have done all that, because I don't know the terms of Amazon, Audio, and Apple in terms of their respective terms and conditions. So you got Apple, you got Audible, you got Audible, Apple in accordance with their respective terms and condition. Amazon, Apple, and Audio require that the work's narrator be listed along with the name of the author on all retail listing of the audiobook. So that narrator, the person who is narrating my book, also name is going to have to be listed along with my name of author on all retail listings of the audiobook. That's why you gotta have that legal piece in place. This is the business side in terms of being a published author and getting your book out there the correct way to the masses. And it also talks about that the author acknowledged that the publication of the press release will occur after publication of the audiobook. So they're going to handle all of that. They're going to use the same press release that I utilized on my printed book that hit all major bookstores over a year ago. Also in the contract is distribution of press release by utilizing the author's original hard copy or ebook press release. The publisher will adapt same for the author's audiobook and will, upon approval by the author of the adapted press release, they will distribute the release through the publisher third-party newswire services. That is how your work gets tapped into mass distribution. There is no way Marie Holiday could have done all that without collaborating and going into an executed contract. These people are the experts in publishing your published work. It took me almost a year and a half in writing my manuscript for my book prior to being accepted by a world-renowned publishing company. Electronic transmissions talks about that in the contract. All files related to the audiobook production, including production timelines, questionnaires, audio files, finished audiobooks, reports, and the like, are to be transmitted between Audiobook Network and author electronically. Author royalties. Yeah, it's got to talk about the money in this contract, and I'm here to tell you. That's how you build that generational wealth. Publisher will remit to author 100% of all monies received by it from each respected vendor on behalf of the author. Quarterly accounting reports listing all sales that have transacted with each distribution outlet and all net profits generated therefrom. As per each respected outlet, most recent terms and conditions will be provided to the author by the publisher. After the author has received a sum of $10,000 in aggregated royalties, the publisher shall be entitled to a 4% commission of all future royalties received on the author's behalf. In the event that quarterly payments owed to the authors, so basically, that's where that money piece ties in. Because even when I surpass that first $10,000 in royalties, and then at the point where my publisher, as stipulated in the contract, get a 4% commission, that 4% commission that I'm paying the publisher, I'm going to turn around and write that 4% off as a business expense under my company, Parents and Associates Resource Center. So I ain't losing nothing. And I'm here to tell you, the contract got to stipulate that money piece. And when I file my business taxes, you better believe that when they get to the point where my publisher is getting that 4%, I'm going to turn around and file that 4% as a business expense and still recoup my money. And I'm here to tell you. Terms. This agreement, here we go. This agreement shall remain in effect for 7 years. 7 years. And then 7 years, and the author hereby authorized Audiobook Network to act as the sole and exclusive worldwide publisher of the audiobook edition for said period. Upon expiration of this agreement, Audiobook Network will immediately relinquish any and all rights to publish the work in the audiobook format and to any further commissions as defined above. So once that 7 years has hit, then I'm going to get 100% of the royalties. Then I'm going to no longer have to pay that 4% in commission to the publisher once I hit that first $10,000. So when that happens, then I will no longer have that 4% commission to write off as an expense under my company, but that's okay because there are many other expenses that I'm itemizing under my company, Parish and Associates Resource Center, and I'm here to tell you that's the business side. That's the business side behind what I do as a business owner. I'm just using this monetized YouTube channel now to market my brand, to market my book, to market my service, to drive sales to Parish and Associates Resource Center. That was the game plan, people, 2.5 years ago, and I'm here to tell you. Now, let's talk about other stuff that's stipulated in this contract. For authors seeking additional marketing strategies, the following comprehensive package is available. And so now, another a perk that I'm going to get as stipulated in this contract, creation of an author's YouTube channel. There we go, another YouTube channel. Publisher will establish a YouTube channel for the author's audiobook as a marketing campaign. The book's video trailer and Zoom interview will be posted on this YouTube channel. A corresponding Gmail account will also be created and linked to your YouTube channel, both of which will be transferred to the author upon completion of the marketing campaign. That's gonna set the stage for Awake Financial Freedom to be tapped into more worldwide markets, and all of that is stipulated in the contract. Promotional video trailer is another perk of this contract. They will also, the publisher will do a 30-second video production, shall include high-resolution images of the book's cover design, images related to the theme story, and information as to the various of outlets where the book is available for purchase. The promotional video trailer will be posted to the author's YouTube channel, and I'm here to tell you. Video interview via Zoom is another strategy marketing tool that my contractors are going to do. A video interview will be conducted with the author via a video conference service like Zoom or equivalent by an experienced book interviewer journalist, and will be edited to a finished length to 3 to 5 minutes. This pre-recorded, professionally edited video will be posted to the author's YouTube channel. Oh, that's going to drive sales. Because currently right now, Awake Financial Freedom, when I went through my page publishing to transform my manuscript into a published book, this book right now hit all major bookstores over a year and a half ago. You can get the soft copy of the book, the ebook version of the book, the Amazon, Google, Apple Play, but pretty soon it's going to be available in audiobook. Podcast interview on the Reader's House Authors Roundtable. This interview, conducted by the Reader House Authors Roundtable hosts, will concentrate on the author's audiobook and background. The podcast interview will be no less than 3 minutes in length and will be pre-recorded and professionally edited. It will be screened to potential readers and customers through the Reader House weekly author roundtable show, which is available through podcast services like Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Google, and equivalent podcast streaming services. Pinterest business account. Publisher will create a Pinterest business account for the author, will create 10 pins based on the subject matter of the work, and will publish 3 pins to the author's Pinterest profile. Upon completion, the Pinterest profile will be released and transferred to the author. Also, as indicated in the contract, Facebook social media launch package. So Audiobook Network is really going to do a tremendous amount of work also to market my audio book. All of that is going to drive sales. Publisher will create and launch an author-specific Facebook social media kickoff campaign with initial graphics and posts. Creation of this kickoff campaign will commence immediately after distribution of the press release, so that the campaign can maximize any attained exposure. The campaign will consist of the establishment of a Facebook page containing the author's book cover art and a direct link to the author's webpage. Author will be responsible for monitoring and responding to all interactions, and the campaign will be released and turned over to author after the final post. I don't mind doing that because I have a stake in my book, my published book, Awake Financial Freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that if you have not purchased your copy of this powerful book, Awake Financial Freedom, that hit all major bookstores over a year and a half ago, pretty soon this very same book is going to be available in audiobook. I have already signed that executed contract with Audiobook Network February of this year. That is the business side behind my brand, Awake Financial Freedom. I'm going to also put a description in this link to my business website. Please check out my business website. My contractor, Jason Sheldon, did a phenomenal job on my business website in terms of marketing Paris & Associates Resource Center. That is my brand. That is the driving force behind what I do. One of my initial goals that I had when I first started my YouTube channel was to get monetized and utilize my YouTube channel to drive sales towards my business, Paris & Associates Resource Center. Because I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you something. And I need for you to hear this. And I appreciate all my supporters chiming in. Y'all know how I flow. I'm going to acknowledge you all chiming in. But, my style, my lecture style is I'm presenting this information. I'm going to acknowledge my supporters. But everybody's style is different. Let me tell you something. I had a conversation with Jason a week or two ago. And I basically told him, I said, I tell any content creator, see your YouTube channel, see your work as a content creator, as a way to drive business towards your other services. Paris & Associates, my company, been around for 20 plus years. It lay dormant for some years, but my company existed long before YouTube. So, like I said to Jason, if YouTube was to shut down right now, if YouTube was to shut my YouTube channel down right now, I would still be able to thrive. I would still be able to thrive under my company, Paris & Associates Resource Center. My brand, that money piece, that financial piece, that's my brand that's been strong for 20 plus years. So think of it that way. Utilize your skills as a content creator to showcase your other skills in your business on this platform. And I'm here to tell you, that's the motivation behind what I do. Because I'm here to tell you, nobody could have ever told me, after I had that spiritual battle with God in 2012, nobody could have ever told me I would be in the position of, about August of this year, exiting up out of this workforce with multiple streams of income that's going to hit me for the rest of my life. 3 retirement checks, all of the money that I've been making under my book that hit major bookstores over a year and a half ago. I treat that money like it don't exist. I reinvest that money to build my portfolio. I don't even touch it. All of the money that I make, that I'm going to make off my audiobook, my game plan is to reinvest that money. As my income begins to rise as being a content creator, I'm going to treat that money like it don't exist and reinvest that money into my portfolio. I even got a game plan to reinvest 80% of my retirement check, reinvest that back into my portfolio, because I'm entering my retirement literally with zero debt other than my cell phone and utilities and food. And I'm here to tell you, that's how you build. That's how you build. That's how you awake your financial freedom. This is real stuff. because you got people every day in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, and the even older. The debt to income ratio is horrible. They are drowning in a sea of debt. When God gave me the skills to rise above that situation, this is the driving force behind Paris and Associates Resource Center. This is the driving force in the concept of my YouTube channel. Yeah, I may talk about other topics, but I'm going to always revisit the concept of what motivated me to start my channel and what motivates me to press forward, and I'm here to tell you. So ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have. Be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. And the beauty of Audiobook Network is, one of the things I do want to say is this is my manuscript. This is my manuscript to my book, Awake Financial Freedom, a published manuscript. You know, I'll be forever grateful to Page Publishing for transforming my manuscript into a finished book over a year and a half ago. Page Publishing Company, they also, when you are a published author, you know, that set the platform for me getting a discount with Audiobook Network, because Audiobook Network collaborate with published authors from Page Publishing. Page Publishing does a referral to authors who may have a desire to transform their published work into an audiobook. Yeah, I still had to pay money, but it was not the full amount if I would not have had gotten that referral from Page Publishing as a published author. So basically, this manuscript, Awake Financial Freedom, set this platform for Marie Holiday to move this book to the level of being available to audiobook. All of that is eventually going to drive sales. That's the business side of what I do. I tell folks, stop trying to do everything on your own. You know, if everybody make the decision if they want to go through an author or self-publish. That's your individual decision. But you're still spending money, even if you self-publish. You're still spending money to get that book self-published the correct way, and you're going to have to collaborate with those stakeholders for the page design, the editing, the ISBN, and all of that. But versus if you go through if you go through a publisher, you know, they have access to tap into worldwide markets that Marie Holiday don't have access to tap into, and you can write all that money off as a business bit anyway. You're gonna get the return on your investments. You gotta know when to yield to the experts. Rather, if you want to book publish or roof done on your house or electrical work, you know, very intricate electrical work, because you can kill yourself if you don't know what you're doing when it comes to electricity. Or work done on your car, transmission work, versus take it to the experts, versus hiring a shade tree mechanic who ain't gonna have all the updated tools to adequately work on your car. At a certain point, you have to yield to the experts, because if not, you're gonna end up spending more money anyway. So I appreciate all my supporters listening. Hit that subscribe button, the notification button. And with that being said, simplify, simple fidelis. And I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great day.